I'm Nick, I'm an alcoholic. Thanks Bruce and Lynn for having me out. I love these guys. I've known them my whole sobriety. And my buddy Chris, same thing. And it's amazing that I've been here for 35 years and that Chris he invites, I have to drive out here from Santa Monica and he goes, I'm going with you. And that's how we always did it when we were new in sobriety. Pile in the car and you'd go with the brother or the sister to the meeting. And it's been that way ever since, you know. And to see the new people, I mean, I was telling Chris, we were driving here, I said, you know, as soon as we got off the off-ramp, he goes, what's wrong? I go, I'm scared. He goes, what? I go, I'm scared. I get scared when I got to speak. And he goes, I never knew that about you. Why? And I said, because I got to tell the truth. And it's funny seeing all the new people and the chip takers. That was terrifying. That still gets me in the gut when I see you guys come up because it reminds me when I was new and my sponsor would make me go get a chip and he would introduce me. As soon as we'd walk into the meeting, he'd go, this is Nick. He's got one day today. And I would be like, stop saying that. And he'd just keep doing it, you know. And it's like, speaking of fear, it's like a lot of it comes from my first experiences in AA. I got a lot of drunk drivings and I had a nudge from the judge and I was getting my court card signed and I had missed a signature. I think I needed 12 meetings or something like that and I'd missed one. And I had to see the judge. And I go, oh my God, back to jail, I thought for sure. And I looked at the old directories we used to have and I saw this noon meeting that was happening right now. And I got on my bike because I got my car taken away. And I raced over to the meeting and I was late and I just slid into the back door. I didn't want anybody to see me. And I just slid in and I put my head down, right? And all of a sudden, right away, this woman starts to elbow me. She goes, sir. And I go, what? She goes, sir. She points to the secretary and I go, what do you want? She goes, the secretary. I look up and the secretary goes, sir, this is a women's meeting. That was my AA introduction. So every time I'd come back or get chips, I would think that you guys are going to go, that's the guy. But you know, I'm that selfish, self-obsessed alcoholic. And that's what my fear is. My fear is always, since I can remember, it was about you liking me fitting in. That's what I wanted. And I felt different. And we went out to dinner tonight and we were talking about where we're all from and I forget where is my man from Cleveland? There he is. And I was born in Cleveland and I went to a school that was mostly black. I was the only white kid on the basketball team and I was out of place. I did not fit in at all. And my dad, the other thing was my dad was in a band. He ended up running off with my babysitter on his Harley. They got married. I was angry. Then I got sober. I did the steps. Now I understand that she was super hot and I get it. I forgave him. But these things like that, I'm white. I go to an all-black school. I'm the only white kid on the basketball team. I have a single mom who's an alcoholic, a raging alcoholic. My home life was abusive. You know, it was just her and I, and she was drunk and angry that my dad left. And so I would go to school, and my escape was on the basketball court. And it felt fantastic. I felt like I fit in when I was on the court. And my whole thing, all my friends were black. My girlfriend was black. The problem was I was not black. And I wanted to be black so bad. And me and my girlfriend, Laura Colson, we would talk about it. We would strategize. We were just little kids in elementary school. We would talk seriously, have serious conversations. And she would give me directions on what to do, you know. And our goal was that I would get an afro somehow. And we did. We would sit there and go over it, nonstop. And the only time I felt good was, like I said, was on the basketball court. And we had a small school. And we didn't have a school bus, and the coach was the guy everybody said he was a Hell's Angel, maybe not. He was kind of crazy, but he would He would pick us up in his 57 Ford, and he could only take the starting 5. So each week you had to make the squad so that we could fit in his car. No school bus. And everybody's fighting for that, and I always made it. I was tiny. I was the point guard, skinny little white kid, but they called me the White Shadow. And we'd get down there to meet Mr. Stiles, who would pick us up. We'd all be in the schoolyard waiting at night, and it was so fantastic just to make that roster. And you'd see him roll up in the 57 Ford. He'd hit the horn, and we would all pimp walk to the car. And we practiced this. You know, we'd make sure our arms swung together like this behind us. But all my friends and teammates, they had like everything I wanted I didn't have. They had the clothes. You know, my mother didn't dress me in the right clothes. You know, she was drunk and I was angry at her. And I'd come home after the games, I'd be crying. She'd go, "What's wrong?" I'd go, "It's my clothes, they're all wrong. I got to have the right clothes when I go for the away games." She's like, "What are you talking about?" I go, "I need this hat." She's like, "What kind of hat?" I go, "It's called a brim. And it's got a red feather in it." And I'd be crying until I could get the hat. And we'd go to this discount store called Value City. And I'd go, my mom would buy me the hat, and I'd get my brim. I'd go to the away games, pimp walk to the car with my brim. A little bit better. And slowly what I'm doing is I'm already starting to fill that God-sized hole that I have with clothes, with things that at the moment will fix me. I mean, that's my earliest memory of that. And then we'd go to the games. We'd play all these rich white prep schools. We'd whoop them. Come home. I'd take a shower, and I'd be crying again. And she'd go, "What do you need?" And I'd go, "I need these shoes." She's like, "What kind of shoes?" I go, "These red platform shoes I saw at Value City." We'd go down to Value City, and I'd get the shoes. I got the hat. I got the shoes. And I remember it was around Christmas. And Value City had this big store window, and the snow was coming down. It was beautiful, right? Like a Christmas story. And every day I'd walk past Value City, and there was this purple fur coat talking to me. From the window, I'd see it. I couldn't even look away. I didn't get the coat. My mom wasn't going for it, but it was amazing because this was happening to me all the time. And the only time, like I said, I felt good on the court, we'd get off the court, I'd get home, and look in the mirror, and I'm just white boy Nick. And that was my first experience of I don't fit in. Something's really wrong with me. Not only is just my dad, but my mom's an alcoholic. We live in this teeny little bungalow. And I'm white, you know. And I remember, you know, her trying to like figure it out, you know. So she was always trying to date and meet a man, like a father for me. And she would have these parties. And the only time I saw my mom really laughing and having a good time was at these parties she was throwing. And she was getting hammered. And that's the thing, right? And then she's meeting a guy and they're having fun. And I figured it out. There's something in that. There's something in that bottle. When she drinks it, everything's fine. So one day in 6th grade, I come home from school, and this would be my first drink. And I go into the kitchen, I went into the pantry, and there were these shelves, and this big jug of vodka was on the top shelf. I remember climbing up there, I pulled it down, and my first drink is so cliche, it's burned into my mind. To this day, I remember taking that cap off and standing in that pantry and taking 6 big sucks off that bottle. And I remember it hitting the back of my throat, man, and instantly I felt that hot burn as it rippled through my veins and down my body. I remember standing in that pantry, and I was getting bigger and blacker with every drink I took off that bottle. I swear to God. I remember standing there, and I'm not leaving the pantry. I don't need to leave. Everything was fine. I didn't care about my dad. I didn't care about my mom. As far as I was concerned, everything was perfect. All my dreams came true in that pantry on that day. Something changed. That was the psychic change I first had. That was it. And I remember going, this is it. This is what I'm doing. And from that point on, from 6th grade on, that's what I chased. And I'll chase that, as we say, to the gates of insanity. My mom finally meets a guy. We move out to Santa Monica. I got the same problem. Now I'm this white black dude going to a surfer school in Santa Monica. And I'm wearing platform shoes. And I got the hat and the pants, the tight bell-bottom pants. And everybody's wearing OPs and Vans. And I got frosty tip feathered hair, and it's a mess. I mean, it's a mess. I got the same problem. And I was getting that first week of school, I was getting smacked in the head every day in between class. Bell would ring, I'd get smacked in the head. Bell rings, smacked in the head. And I would come home to my mom and my stepdad, and I'd cry, saying, I got to go back to Cleveland. I can't handle this. And they're like, we live here now. We're not going back to Cleveland. And I remember one day I was going to school in the morning, and I said, I got to go up the alley because I can't run into this. The crowd that was picking on me was a surf gang and this dude, John Staples. Remember him? And so here's this crowd, and I said, if I go up the alley, I could avoid this pain probably. And I cut up the alley. Sure enough, as soon as I get up the alley, there they are. And I go, oh man, I tried to cut the other way, and they saw me. The one dude, John, who was drinking from a brown paper bag. And he goes, hey, what's up, kook? Where do you think you're going? And I go, me? He goes, yeah, you. He goes, you want a drink? And he hands me the bag. And I knew what was in that bag, and I knew right away what to do because I'd been doing that for a while now. And I grabbed that bag, I took that cap off, and I downed that whole bottle. Whole bottle. And I remember pulling it out, and I was like, Wild Turkey 101. I never heard of that before. And this dude, John Silva, goes, dude, you're in trouble. And he knew what was going on. This is 7:30 in the morning before school. And sure enough, this would be my first blackout. You know, and I remember throwing up in homeroom and all over my desk. I made this huge scene. I flipped my desk over. Mr. Hurst, the homeroom teacher, tried to grab me. I ran out. I made it into the bathroom. I blacked out, passed out, couldn't get my pants on time, and I peed my pants. And the vice principal and Mr. Hurst dragged me out. In between classes, the bell rang. While all the kids are coming out of the hallway, down the hallway, with my pants wet from pee in front of all the kids to the infirmary. And I woke up a day later, and I found out I was suspended. And my stepdad goes, I think you've learned your lesson, right? And I remember telling him, I swear to God, I'll never do that again. In that very moment as I'm saying that, I couldn't wait to do it again. I couldn't wait. And I go, man, I'm out of school now. I go, I can get after it right now. And he goes, where do you think you're going? I go, I'm going out. I'm going to go down to the beach. He goes, no, you're not. He goes, you're going to school. I'm like, I'm suspended. He goes, suspended is not expelled. He goes, you go back to school today. And I'm terrified. Here we go again. Now I'm going to school, and I've got to go to the school where everyone's seen me pee my pants, black out, the whole school knows. And I remember walking to the gate, and there's that surf gang with John Staples again. And I was like, it's too late. They saw me. I'm going to get my ass kicked. He's going to kick my ass in front of all these kids. And he's staring at me. And I walk up to him. I try to get around. And he goes, hold on a second. And I go, yeah? He goes, dude, you're freaking gnarly. I was like, yeah, I'm gnarly. And I figured it out that this is what I'm going to continue to do. This is what I'm going to chase. I got rewarded for that. I'm somebody now. He likes me. I'm in. All I got to do is drink till I black out, and I'm in. I'm in. And this is what I do. And I get to Santa Monica High School. I make it through 10th grade. I get kicked out. I end up going to Olympic Continuation School. I made it, a couple weeks. I got kicked out, which is super hard to do. Then I get sent to West Virginia to go live with my grandfather in a coal mining camp because I couldn't go to school around here, and that's the only one that would take me. And I was there for a month, and I got kicked out. And this is perfect for me because now I have nothing left to do but drink the way I want to drink. Drink the way I learned how to drink, which is I'm a blackout drinker. I'm a blackout drinker. And my drinking progresses. And I start, I make it back from West Virginia, and I start to go to jail at age 15. That continues on. I start to wake up in strange places as we do. And, I remember some of the weird ones. I wake up in Mexico on a surf trip. I don't even know who I was down there with. I was a bouncer at a club, and I remember talking to some people. And next thing you know, I'm in Mexico, sleeping in the rain in a girl's tennis sweater. Nobody's around me. I don't know what happened and how I got down there. And these kind of things become just everyday life for me. I mean, that's how we do it. If you're a real alcoholic like me, this is nothing, you know? And my friends started to get tired of it, though. You know, one of the other ones was I woke up, I went to the Hollywood Palladium, this Brazilian carnival. My roommate was a Brazilian Coke dealer. Great roommate. In the 80s. And I remember him taking me to the Hollywood Palladium and for carnival night. And a couple thousand people. Fantastic. I came to a few days later, married to a Brazilian girl who didn't speak English. I'm not even trying to be funny. That's just how my life was. That's how it is. And I want to keep pushing it down. And that's what I started to learn early on is everything that's happening to me, I've got to push it down. And the only way I can keep it down in that hole I'm talking about is by putting drugs and alcohol over it. Because if I stop drinking and stop using drugs, all that stuff starts to come up that I've told myself. My dad left with my babysitter. I got to push it down. My mom's an alcoholic. We live in a tiny house. I'm white. You know, I'm not a surfer. Whatever it is, whatever the story is that I've created about myself, I got to keep burying that with drugs and alcohol. Because if I stop drinking, that stuff comes up and I can't bear to look at it. And I also can't bear to have you find out that I'm scared, like I talked about when I got here. I'm scared. I run on fear. And a lot of the fear is, like I said, is like I want to be liked. I want you to love me. You know, the way I see it is like I'm unlovable. You know, all those things I said become true. You know, and the biggest part of it was when I'm kicked out of school. It's like, not only does my dad run off with my babysitter, my mom's an alcoholic, but I'm stupid. I'm stupid, you know. And I can't let you find out that I'm stupid. And I end up doing things that, you know, illegal things I need to do to get high and drunk and stay that way. And I end up going to jail a lot. And I remember one of the last times being in county jail, and I remember laying there knowing, you know, we have these windows of moments of clarity that pop open, I think, throughout our drinking. And it's if you don't jump through that window at that moment, it just shuts behind you. It shuts, and then we keep going. We either keep going until the window opens again, or to me, we you know, die and saying go to jail, as Danny Trejo says. And I remember being in county jail, laying on my mat, and I remember for the first time in there having this sense of ease in jail. I remember relaxing, laying on my mat, and I remember going, I got a break. I got a break in here from all that drama and my life out there. And it's almost like a reset. You know, your warrants go away, time served, and I come out and I swear to God, I'm never going to drink again. I'm never going to get high again. And I mean it. I mean it, man. And I remember walking out Twin Towers and looking to see if anybody's come to pick me up. And in the 80s, they'd get you out of there pretty quick, you know, because the jails were overcrowded. I remember getting out at about 2, 3 in the morning maybe. And I remember walking out, and there was a guy behind one of the pillars, and I remember hearing him say, I didn't see anybody, but I heard it. He goes, yeah, motherfucker. He goes, you'll be back. Once you've been in, you'll always be back. And that was that window that hit me in my core. It opened, it was true, and I knew it. I knew it. And I said, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do it. And I remember I get home, and I see my girlfriend, who I haven't seen in a couple weeks, and she's, you know, so glad I'm okay and I'm out. And I have this idea of what a normal person is, a normal couple does. I go, we're going to get takeout. We're going to stay in my apartment. We're going to drink soda, and we're going to watch Seinfeld. She goes, why? And I go, I think that's what we need to do. And she's like, okay. And I remember I ran out of cigarettes. And I go, shit. She goes, what's the matter? I go, I'm out of cigarettes. She goes, so what? I go, I got to have cigarettes. Like, I'm going to go down to 7-Eleven. I'll be right back. 7-Eleven is a block away. I go down to 7-Eleven. I meet this guy, Danny Anzalone. Danny Anzalone and some old man with some old hippie, Jerry Garcia looking dude, and they're sitting in a van. I come out of 7-Eleven with my cigarettes, and I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink. I told myself that. And I'm 100%. I'm not doing it. I walk out. Danny Anzalone goes, Nick James. I go, hey, Danny. He goes, hey, man. He goes, you want a beer? And I go, all right. And just like that, I'm in the van. It starts off with a beer. Now I'm taking acid. Now I'm taking a couple of hits of acid. Now a week's gone. 2 weeks have gone. And I've been tripping on acid for 2 weeks in the bushes in the Palisades Bluffs. Never even made it out of there. And I get home, and my girlfriend's, of course, gone. And everyone's gone. And now I got to get out of my apartment, because my aunt, who was the landlord, had it. And so now I'm living in my car. And my parents don't want anything to do with me, because the last time I saw them was on Christmas Eve. I threw my stepdad, who's a great guy, into the Christmas tree. I was drunk. And they said, we don't want you coming back. And my friends don't want me coming back. And eventually, nobody wants anything to do with me, And I'm in my car. And, they say the alcoholic, our definition is we're these egomaniacs with an inferiority complex. And that's me. I am dying for help. I'm dying. But my ego's so big, I can't ask you for help. Because I can't have you think I'm weak. I can't have you think I'm scared, so I can't ask. And I'm sitting in my car, and I've been living in there for a while now, and it's a 70 Chevy Impala convertible, and the top won't go up. I'm out of money, I'm out of drugs, it's starting to rain, and I keep moving the car back and forth under the most full trees I could find to stay dry. And I remember thinking, go ask your mom for help or kill yourself. Those were my options. And I was leaning towards the kill myself one, which is crazy. I can't go ask my mom. I can't ask somebody for help. I can't, because my ego is so big that I can't do it. And I would rather die and have you think that I wasn't scared when I died. That's how my mind works. I would rather be dead and have, he died, but man, he was badass, but he's dead. And I remember, I don't know what it was, but that window popped open again. I don't know why. And I think it's when we're beaten into submission. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, the willfulness has been beaten out of me. I don't know why it is. That incomprehensible demoralization. And I'm sitting there, and I said, just go knock on the door. Just go knock. I remember knocking on my mom's door, and she's like, what do you want? I said, I don't have anywhere to stay. I've been living in my car. She goes, come on in. And my mother and I never got along. We screamed at each other. We called each other horrible names. We never were nice to each other. It was just a horrible, she's drinking and I'm drinking, and that's the way we wanted it, And she goes, come on in. She goes, you can sleep on the couch in the back. And I went in there, and she said, in an hour, why don't you come on up? I'm going to have dinner for you. I remember I laid in, she goes, no drinking in the house, which is weird, right? But that was the first sign. And I come up, she puts a plate of food down on the table. She goes, there you go. And she goes, I'll be back in about an hour or two. I go, you're not going to eat? She goes, no, I got to go. I go, where are you going? She goes, I'm going to a meeting. And I go, a meeting? What kind of meeting? She goes, a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. She just left. She didn't tell me, you need to go with me. You need to stop drinking. She always screamed that stuff at me. Always. Her getting me out of jail, going to court with me. We would always scream about my drinking and my drug use. Not hers, but mine, in my ear. Riding in the car. I'm in the passenger seat. She's driving, screaming at me. This night she said nothing. She just left and went to the meeting. Next night, same thing. She goes, come on up. I made you dinner. Put the plate down. I go, where are you going? She goes, I'm going to go to the meeting. I'll be back in a couple hours. And that second night, I noticed something different about her. There was a calmness and a serenity I'd never, ever seen in my mom. I mean, my mom was so out of her mind. I remember being in West Virginia and driving, and when my dad left, and my mom driving down this dirt road in the backwoods, crying, and she was going to run the car into a tree and kill us. That's her alcoholic thinking. My alcoholic thinking is the same. It's the same. And she was a wine drinker, and I didn't understand it. So she's going to the meetings. I thought, I knew I'd been to AA through the courts. I go, I'm an alcoholic. I didn't understand. She drinks wine. I don't get it. It doesn't matter how much you drink or what you drink. It's the feelings are the same. It's the feelings. That's what we identify with, is the feelings. I can come to Alcoholics Anonymous and share my deepest, darkest secrets that I'm going to take to the grave with me, and And when I share that secret, I think I'm alone. I'm not. I'm not. You guys have way gnarlier stuff than I got. I've heard it. I sponsor a lot of guys. I've heard stuff like, oh, shit. And that's the beauty of it. And that's what she was doing. She was this person that didn't say anything to me. She was an attraction. And so I have to have one more drink in me. And I can't drink in the house, so I leave. I go down to the Santa Monica Pier, and I used to drink at the Boathouse, which is a real, not there anymore, but it's a real bottom of the barrel bar. No one's going to judge you in there. I used to go in there with my shirt sleeves ripped off from getting in a fight, covered in blood. Didn't even have to change. I'd just go in there with no shoes and a bloody shirt, 2 black eyes, and I'd sit down and have a drink, and nobody'd say nothing to me about it because they got it. They understood, the bartender. And I went down to the Boathouse, and I remember this woman that I used to frequent with every now and then when we'd have a little too much to drink. She was the bartender, way older than me. But she looked younger than me when I'd have a few. And I don't know what happened, but I blacked out one more time. And I woke up and I was locked in this 2-story apartment, and it was her apartment. And I'm locked in, and this little maintenance guy's on the outside, and I must have created some huge scene. I had torn the apartment apart, and there was people outside, a crowd had formed because I'd been screaming my head off, I guess, making this big dramatic alcoholic scene. And they're just trying to get me out because I'm tearing the place up. And somehow she's locked outside of the steel screen door, and I'm locked inside. I don't even know what happened. And he's trying to get the hinges off as fast as he can because I'm tearing it up. And all of a sudden, that window opened again. And it said to me, this is your chance to call your mother and tell her what's really going on. Tell her. And I picked up the phone. And she goes, what is it? And I go, I need help. I need help. She goes, where are you? I go, I don't know. I'm somewhere by the pier. She goes, I'm coming to get you. And I go, she goes, just be out front. And I go, but I'm locked in this apartment. She goes, so what? She goes, go out the window. I go, I can't. She goes, why? I go, it's on the 2nd story. She goes, well, jump. That's the first time I ever listened to my mother. And I jumped. And I cracked some ribs on the wall. And I ran out like I always did with no shoes, no shirt. I ran out to the street. And my mother never had an address. And my mother had gotten a job because she had just gotten sober. And was able to buy herself this little cute white Mazda Miata. And she, for some God-shot miracle, was able to pull up, and we intersected right on the street. We talk about it to this day. I never gave her an address. And that is one of the first miracles I've ever had. We were talking about seconds and inches tonight. That's what that was. Because if she wasn't there, you know how we are. We're resilient. If she's not there, I keep going. I keep going. I go back down to the Boathouse. That's what happens. Or I die. And for whatever reason, she was there. And I jumped in the car and we took off. And the most amazing thing was all she said to me in the car was, would you like... So I get choked up with this because it's miraculous, the things that happen around here. She said, would you like to go to a meeting? I said, yes. And we ended up going to 26 and Broadway. And I remember, it was like this feeling, everybody reaching out. Instantly, that's all I remember is everybody reaching out and touching me and shaking my hand. And I remember this guy, Slavin Dave. He put his arms around me. He goes, welcome home. I thought, God, man, home. It feels like home. I felt like that time in jail. For that moment when he said that, I felt that ease, when I exhaled in jail that time. Like, oh, I can have a break here for now. This is fine for now. And then I came home, and then at my mom's, and then the next day there was a knock at the door. It was my best friend who I grew up with, my best party buddy. I mean, this guy, all my other friends would fall to the wayside, but you have that one friend, that one guy who'll go with you to the end. Me and this dude worked together parking cars at Gladstone's for Fish. And was always the guy that could orchestrate getting the blow, getting more booze. We're going to do it. We're going to really do it tonight. And everybody else would fall by the wayside and go, we got to go to sleep. And this one buddy of mine, Sean, he'd go, all right, let's do it. He'd go, but we need to get more money. Where are we going to get it? I go, we're going to get your mom's credit card. We're going to go get some booze. Then we're going to call Pino, my Brazilian roommate, and we're going to get some more blow. And we would do this, and he would follow me through to the gates of insanity. And he would go, dude, we got to go to work. We haven't been to work in days. I'd go, we'll get new jobs. But anyway, this knock at the door was this guy, was my friend. He said, I heard you were at 26 and Broadway, and you were getting sober. He goes, I'm sober a year and a half. He was on fire. He had this glow about him, this aura of excitement that I had only seen when we just scored an 8-ball. I mean, he was so giddy about sobriety, it was mind-blowing. And he goes, come on, dude. He goes, we're going to go to a meeting at noon right now. And they go, I went to a meeting. He goes, when? I go, I went yesterday. He goes, no. He goes, we go to a meeting every single day. He goes, you were a pig about your drinking and using. You need to be a pig about your sobriety. He goes, because I was with you. I know. We're going to a meeting. I go, dude, I went to a meeting yesterday. I'm not going. He goes, yeah, we're going. We would argue, and eventually he'd get me in the car, and we're driving to the meeting, and I remember him going, oh, by the way, I'm your sponsor, too. And I go, no, dude, you ain't my sponsor. And that's not going to happen. Because I had that first meeting my mom took me to, I saw Rod Steiger. Remember Rod Steiger, the old actor? Rod Steiger was at the meeting and go, that's going to be my sponsor. You know what I mean? I saw myself going down the red carpet, movie premieres with my sponsor. Sean goes, no, I'm your sponsor. The next day he comes and picks me up. It's the same thing. I go, dude, let's go already. I know, we're going to go to the meeting. He goes, hold on a second. Did you make your bed? I go, make my bed? He goes, yeah, we make our beds in sobriety. That's how we do it. I go, dude, you can't tell me to make my bed just because you're my sponsor. He goes, do you want what I have? I go, I don't know. He'd go, I'm sober a year and a half. And to me, that was like an eternity, right? I got nothing. I got a couple of days, which is crazy. That's a lot. He would take me, we'd go to the meeting, he'd add something the next day, he'd knock on the door, I'd go, let's go, I made my bed. He'd go, hold on a second. Did you say your prayers? I go, dude, I'm not a God guy. I'm not doing that. You can't make me do that. I don't believe. He'd go, we fake it till we make it. Cut to, we're at my bed, tucking in my sheets. He's helping me make it. We're kneeling, holding hands, saying the third step prayer. Because he's got what I want. I don't want to go back out there. And he would hit me with that. Are you willing to go to any length to stay sober? And we never turned down an AA request. And he was so crazy, I used to call him the sobriety police. Because he was always adding this crazy stuff. And he was having me drive all these guys around. I go, who are these guys that you're having me pick up? He goes, they're my sponsees. I go, why don't you pick them up? He goes, because I got a job and you don't. And I'd be driving these guys around all resentful, hanging on the steering wheel, all pissed off, you know. We get to the meeting and he's already there, smoking, talking to girls. And then there was this guy at the meeting who was setting up this men's retreat, this AA fishing trip, right? And it was taking place at the Santa Barbara Channel Islands on this boat for the weekend. And I go, I am not doing that. And there was this old guy who was chasing me around, who was trying to get me to sign up. I go, dude, his name is Dave. I go, Dave, I ain't doing that. I'm not interested in that. I'm not going to be stuck on a boat with a bunch of dudes for a whole weekend. He goes, it's not what you think. I go, I don't care. I go, I'm not doing it. And Sean goes, yeah, you are. I've already signed you up. Cut to him on this boat. And we're pulling away from land. And I'm so angry. I talked about taking your will back, you're beaten into submission. I've taken my will back within days of being sober. How quickly I forget what it was like. I can't recall, as the book talks about. I can't recall what was going on, what just happened, my life was like. But I'm on this boat and I'm like this, I'm pissed. Because we're pulling away from land and my sponsor's not even on the boat. Because he's got a job. And all I could think about as we're pulling away is like, I see land, I go, I'm fucked. I can't get off. And I'm so angry and so like this, I can't see the sun coming up, the sun, you know what I mean? The sunrise. I can't see the beautiful islands. I can't see the crystal clear blue water. I can't see none of it because I'm like this. I'm shut down. I'm taking my will back, and it's Nick's way. And I remember fishing on that boat, and I'm angry fishing. I'm holding my pole, man, so tight, and I'm just so mad, right? And this guy, Chuck, he's like, come on down, we're going to have the meeting right now. I go, Chuck, I'm not doing it, man. Like, I'm not going to do it. He goes, just come down. And they all go down. I'm alone in the boat, just angry fishing. Finally, I go, you know what? I go, fuck it. And I go down there, and they all move out of the way, and they wedge me in the middle, because I'm the new guy, and they start to share, right? And this guy, Vince starts to share. I'm Vince, I'm an alcoholic, blah, blah, blah. And this guy, Richard, shares. I'm Richard. Shares get to me. I go, I'm Nick. I'm an alcoholic. I'll pass. This guy next to me, he goes, oh, hi, my name's Tom. I'm not an alcoholic. I just got on the wrong boat. Swear to God. And this normie dude, Tom, just starts sharing. He just goes right with it. He's talking about his beautiful wife and his house and his kids, his perfect life in the valley. And everybody's dying laughing. And I'm going, this guy's fucked. His friends are on a whole nother boat out there somewhere. He's stuck with us. And I remember being at the side of the boat again, and I'm fishing, doing my thing, right? And I'm pissed, and I'm alone. And Normie Tom is standing next to me, fishing. And I'm aggravated with this guy. Why are you here, right? And he's asking me questions about Alcoholics Anonymous. And I got like 90 days, I think. And I'm doing my best to answer whatever I can, like I know, you know. And I remember, I'll never forget what he asked me. He said, you know, Nick, what I really want to know is, he goes, how do you guys do it? How do you do it? And I go, what are you talking about, Tom? He goes, how are you laughing after all you guys have been through? And I couldn't hear it. You know what I mean? Because I'm like this. I couldn't hear. Because I'm closed off, my eyes, my ears, everything is like that. I'm taking my will back as I'm trying to explain the laughters to Tom. I felt my shoulders for the first time slowly drop. And I started to be able to hear all those dudes on the boat laughing so hard. Because we laugh. We've been laughing in here all night. And we made it. And that's what I realized is, we come in here, we think it's going to be this glum lot, and it's not. We survived. And I didn't get sober to have a crappy time. I got sober to have a great life. And if you're in here today, you're sitting in the seats, you hit the lottery. And if you're new, like I was, dude, man, welcome to your adventure. I've been on a life adventure for 35 years, and I've been laughing nonstop with Sean and Chris for 35 years. And I just got to get out of the way. That's it. I got to let go. You know, my other buddy used to tell me, that he used to go, dude, he goes, I don't know what's wrong with you. And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you're always like this. And I go, well, what's this? He goes, I don't know. You're the one doing it. He goes, but you got to go like this. He goes, you got to surrender to win. And I got to do that every morning. I get up. I got to surrender to win because something happens to me at night. When I go to night meetings, I leave. I feel fantastic. I'm like super sober. I'm walking on water. I go to bed at night. My head hits the pillow. And something happens when I'm sleeping. I take my will back. I don't know why. And I wake up like this. That's just how I'm wired. And I have to do all those things that Sean taught me and more to go like this. And the main one I have to do is that one where I have to call newcomers or anybody. And I got to ask them what's going on with them. Because I'm a selfish, self-centered person. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I'm thinking about is, Nick, what am I going to get? What am I going to do? What can I get from myself? What am I going to lose that I don't have? These are my thoughts. And the only way I can get out of that is if I call a new person and I go, what's going on? I sponsor a lot of guys because it saves my ass. And they call me all day. And I love it. And I listen. They go, what's going on with you, Nick? I go, what's going on with you? And then they start to talk. And I listen. And I start to forget about my plans. And I start to go like this. And when I go like this, I open up and I have that spiritual experience it talks about to me, Rocket in the Fourth Dimension, page 25. That is the magic. And I only get that when I'm helping another alcoholic, because when I open up and I surrender my will, I'm open to a spiritual experience. And to me, when I'm working with a new guy, driving him around, driving anywhere, I get rocketed into the fourth dimension. And that's what that means. And I'll end you with this about your adventure in here. Sean wanted me to go to Palm Springs. My first 2 years of sobriety, I did not want to go. There's the AA roundup down there, and he goes, you got to go. I go, I'm not going, dude. I'm not doing it. I don't want to be in the desert in the summer and in a hotel with a bunch of drunks. I go, it's terrible, terrible idea. He goes, you don't get it. He goes, there's a giant swimming pool, and there's girls all over the pool in bikinis. I go, really? He goes, yeah, dude. He goes, like 2,000. I go, when? He goes, this weekend. Let's go. I go, girls, bikinis all over the pool? He goes, yep. I go, all right, let's go. And I went down there looking for a girl in a bikini, and I found one. And I've been married to her for 30 years. Just another God shot. A miracle. We just celebrated 30 years. We got a son who's 28, who's like this straight, weird, not like my wife's a free base head, and I'm you know about me, and we're like, whose kid is this, right? He's pro rugby player, went to college, and for the longest time as a little kid, we used to call him the narc. Because we'd be like, who's this cop living in our house? But that's part of my adventure, and I could go on for an hour how great my life is. It's fantastic, so stay. I love you.